you've got sort of this unique sales mechanism, which is something I think people can really take away. Having a unique sales mechanism that's different from everyone else and creates a completely different buying experience. And you call yours digital co-diagnosis. So could you tell us a little bit about the psychological approach and why you have this unique selling mechanism in place?
You know, I love you, Matt, because you're setting me up with like the basic tenet of Todd Brown when we sit and talk, right? Is he has a sales pyramid and he talks about unique selling mechanism, proposition, whatever you want to call it. And at the end of the day, if I offer widget X to people, and I'm just going to do a quick recap, if it's okay with you, about what this really means. If I'm selling Coca-Cola, let's just say, that's simple. I've got a bottle of Coca-Cola, and you've got a bottle of Coca-Cola, and we're both selling it, and we're both equidistant from someone's home. What's the difference? They're going to go to whoever's cheaper, right? And if you're closer, they'll go to you because you're closer, because it's a commodity. That bottle of Coke is exactly the same from my supermarket as it is from your supermarket. And so I've got no competitive edge unless I lower my prices and make less profit, or somehow move my store closer to you, which is just dumb to do. So in orthodontics, let's just be frank, the average orthodontist is a good orthodontist, right? They're not terrible. They're top of their class. They know what they're doing. And so if I'm trying to get people into my office to do orthodontics, and I'm an orthodontist and you're an orthodontist, what do I have to offer people that's different? Now, with Coca-Cola, it's hard because it's a commodity. But what if I lowered my price for orthodontics? You could come in, but again, is that really the orthodontist I want to be? What if I threw free whitening in, right? I could do that, but now I'm giving you more, right? But what if I have a way, what if there's something unique and special about the way I look at your case that you don't even realize is different? That's a unique mechanism if I name it. So for instance, I could do an exam on you in my office, and you could do an exam on somebody in your office, and to the consumer, that exam is exactly the same. However, I was a cosmetic dentist for 20 years before I went to ortho residency. I did full mouth reconstructions. I rebuilt mouths with implants and crowns and veneers. And I have literally thousands of hours of training in cosmetic dentistry that the overwhelming majority of orthodontists don't have. So shouldn't I leverage that? That's part of my exam. Why am I not telling people that, hey, when you go to orthodontist A, they're going to do a good job with you. But when you come to me, I'm going to look at you with the eyes of a cosmetic dentist for 20 years and an orthodontic specialist. So the difficulty is, number one, one of my mechanisms is being, unique in that way. But what I came up with is the concept of digital co-diagnosis. Now, if I do digital co-diagnosis on you, what it means is I'm using my experience as a cosmetic dentist. I'm using all the stuff I learned in 2.5 years of becoming a specialist orthodontist, and I'm using it with exceptional clinical images, which is something I used to teach dentists, so that I can show you stuff on the screen, and instead of me sitting there and telling you, hey, Matt, you see that crooked tooth over there? I can straighten that for you. Instead, I can walk you down a path called motivational interviewing, where you're in charge, not me. Where I can say to you, hey, Matt, see that crooked tooth on the screen? What do you think we need to do to it? And you'll say, well, it looks like it needs to be rotated or it needs to be moved. Exactly. And, if I want to move it this way, there's a couple of ways I can do it. And I can involve you in the conversation in more than just hey, you need braces, Matt, let's get it straightened out. Yeah. Because if I do that, I'm like every other orthodontist. But if I'm doing digital co-diagnosis and you're doing an exam, are we really doing the same thing? Probably not. So now I can say, come to Krieger Orthodontics, where you'll go through our revolutionary digital co-diagnosis process. So you can go call another orthodontist and go, hey, do you do digital co-diagnosis? And they'll say, I don't even know what digital co-diagnosis is. But yet, I wrote a 3-part series on it in a dental journal because a dental journal heard about it and wanted me to write about it. So again, whatever it is someone's doing out there, whatever your unique mechanism is, whatever you bring to the table that's different, you need to name that process and you need to brag about it. And it needs to be front and center in all your marketing. Because again, if you don't, and you're selling widget X and someone else is selling widget X, it's a commodity. Why would anybody ever buy from you? But if your widget X was developed by a NASA engineer, you should give it a name and then tell people, developed by a NASA engineer. You now have a unique mechanism. So I hope I explained that okay.